So if there was any confusion as to the rules and regulations of a pool, on the public side of things, like this pool is for the condo here. Just making you aware that, where is it at? Number 7. If you do not use the pool if you are ill with diarrhea. Okay. So that was cleared up as of today. Hey folks, welcome to Plane and Traffic, and look what I found today to start this episode off. Yeah, this is the birthplace of CNN. Now I know you're already yawning and like, oh God, what is he doing? Well, just wanted to start the video with this and then move on to its real content. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to repeat myself. Welcome to Plane and Traffic, and today I'm in Atlanta, and yeah, I wanted to just start the vid by saying, here's the CNN building, and this has been here for a bit. I think it's saying somewhere around since 1980, but that is just a side note to what I'm looking at with this video right here. That is the only remaining piece, okay, researched, whether it's true or not, I don't know, the only remaining piece of the one and only Omni in Atlanta, the Omni. And you know what, we're a day, I don't know when this is going to get posted, but I am filming today, the day after SummerSlam, so this is pro wrestling content. And that being said, no conversation about pro wrestling. They all have to include the Omni in Atlanta, because some of the absolutely most incredible spins and stories have came from the Omni. I'm going to flash a picture up of the Omni, because I got to be quite honest with you, and I'm not the only one. It's a very interesting looking building. It was a very interesting looking building all the way up to 1997, and then this place right here took over. Originally called the Phillips Arena, now it's called the State Farm Arena. Oh, by the way, they're hosting Bad Blood, WWE, a returning pay-per-view to their schedule on October 5th. I will be here for that, no question about that. Let's get some shade, because it's already about a 95 degree heat index. But yeah, let me show you around. And let me just have a small conversation. This is probably not going to be a long form video. I'm going to have a little conversation about the Omni in Atlanta, or what the Omni was in Atlanta. So we're going to start with this, not wrestling, but Dominique Wilkins. Definitely a big basketball fan myself, but right in the front entrance, whatever this street is right here, I don't even know. But there's Dominique right off the top, and he played his whole career in the Omni, I would think. It was here till 1997. So the building was erected in 1972. So I'm pretty sure Dominique played his whole career in the Omni. Probably knows it as well as any other professional athlete in existence. One of the things I want to turn immediately as it comes to pro wrestling is that in 1972, when this was built, I will have to do a little more research in terms of the size arenas that the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, was using at that time, because coinciding with this building opening was a territory battle that was going on between the NWA itself, and there was a group of people that defected from the NWA and then competed but could not enter an arena this size, where NWA, as some of the wrestlers during that time, and one right off the top would be Ernie Ladd. When they left the NWA to go with, I think the lady's name was Ann Gunkel. There was a time frame there where NWA had to go out and get new talent, which they didn't have any problem getting, but they immediately came right into the Omni in Atlanta. And I think for wrestling, it was probably like holding somewhere around, like, just say it was holding 15 to 16,000. At the time, the Atlanta Hawks were playing here. At the time, there was also an NHL franchise called the Atlanta Flames. They were playing here. They played here from 1972 to 1980. And but the Omni was involved in that big territory battle between NWA, which NWA eventually won. Let's just say that. Okay, we know they won because we know who and what the NWA is. National Wrestling Alliance. As we check statue number 2, it is the one and only E. Vander Holyfield. This one's looks like this is public transportation, like a train exit. I'm not really sure. Kind of just started being in the area, so I'm not really positive. This statue is very cool. Okay, in the background is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You look at something like this, and it's like, first off, when you look at this off the highway, it's just like, well, it's indoor. Okay, so that's the start. They went with indoor, which, you know what? Oh, by the way, since I've been here, it's in the area, it's probably rained 50% of the time, but it's indoor, and has not had a WrestleMania yet. But it's also, this building only came into being in 2017. Last time Atlanta had WrestleMania, it ended up being, I think it was at the Georgia Dome. Maybe I'll find my way over there at some point. And I think that was WrestleMania 27. Okay. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Again, to repeat, this building here is getting, I don't know if that's good or bad in terms of WrestleMania. They're not, I don't think they're projected to be here anytime soon. But they're getting behind me. State Farm Arena is getting bad blood October 5th. So I don't know if that's almost them saying, yeah, well, you know, you can have this one, but we'll see about Atlanta. By the way, Atlanta's metropolitan area has 6.1 million people around it, so there's a lot of people down here. But so this was the site of the Omni, right? I've been a wrestling fan since probably about 1977. And back then, and it was a long time after that, it wasn't just back then, it was a good while, good, super long time, where to see the pro wrestlers perform, like I said, it was a territory-based business that went on for a very, very long time, until until Vince McMahon Sr. passed, because then Vince Jr. went bananas and started showing up in all these different cities that at the time, and you know, and for a time after that, were controlled by specific promoters in each territory. Okay, so the only way you would ever see an NWA wrestler in, say, man, probably all the way up to 1980. Oh God, it started till pay-per-view was starting, and then they were like, and videotapes were really getting around and about. The only way you were seeing the wrestlers were through magazines. So then it was like, you got lucky enough, you know, by the time the early to mid 80s started, and we had WrestleMania, and we had Starrcade, and then we inevitably had like all the other big shows per year start, and then go to video cassette, VHS tapes, and beta, whatever your preference was at the time. Did you really see these wrestlers So it was a big, it was a, you know, it for a long time it was just a mystery. It was just seeing photographs of these intense matches of people, you know, bleeding all over the place. And NWA, that was really their, you know, I'm gonna say this right now. When Hulk Hogan came to WWF, when he was the Hulkster, and he did the yellow and the prayers and the vitamins and all that, I bailed. I gotta be honest with you, I bailed. I went right to NWA because they started having TV programming, and then they started running shows, you know, because now the territory thing was kind of thrown out the window. They started running shows, and I got pictures and different videos on my channel, you know, of pictures of NWA shows that happened at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Okay, so they fully went, you know, and there was no more lines. There was no more. You needed to travel to North Carolina and south to see NWA. You had to travel from Maryland north to see WWF. You had to travel west of Ohio or west of, oh God, I guess it was far west of Minnesota to see AWA. All those things ended. But man, when the territories were cooking, and you were up in the Northeast, and our wrestling was good. I'm not going to say it wasn't good. It was really good. Okay, but the personnel that they had down in the NWA that you probably weren't going to see unless those wrestlers moved on to a territory. You know, NWA was just absolutely unreal. Okay, so kind of in closing with this video, I did do a Google search that revealed, and I already knew the one I thought was #1 in the Omni. But they do talk back during the territories when Ole Anderson turned on Dusty. That was in 1980. I'm gonna see if I could put links up to the vids. I'm showing you State Farm Arena. It was not in this building. It was in the Omni. We're gonna flash another picture of that spectacular arena, and it's egg carton like roof, upside down egg carton like roof. So 1980, they had Ole turn on Dusty, which was a massive freaking turn. Buzz Sawyer and Tommy Rich wrestled in the first, I believe it was in the first enclosed cage. So whoever came up with that dynamic, I'll see if I can punch that in on the text in the vid. Whoever came up with that dynamic really introduced the world to what inevitably would become the Hell in a Cell. So Buzz Sawyer, Tommy Rich had, and it's known as one of the most violent freaking matches in pro wrestling history, was here in an enclosed cage, 1983. And then the moment, in my opinion, that goes down as one of the absolute greatest, well-written freaking stories ever was the time Nikita and Ivan Koloff, the Russians, put a whooping on Ric Flair. Just beat Nikita in a cage. Ivan came in, Crusher Khrushchev was holding the door closed, while Nikita and Ivan just did a number on Ric Flair. And then out of nowhere, Dusty comes in for the save. And it's like, it's this feel good, like, wow, these two are going to actually, like, he's actually coming in to save Ric Flair. He did, like, all-time rival. And then all of a sudden, the Four Horsemen come in and do a number on Dusty. It is, I'm absolutely putting this in the link. You need to see it if you're a pro wrestling fan. If you haven't seen it, it's part of the Hall of Fame history of pro wrestling. September 29th, 1985, that happened. And man, oh my goodness gracious. That was such a freaking angle. And apparently, you know, Ric Flair's on record saying he never got as much heat at an arena that night, ever. It was the #1. Look, you're talking about Ric Flair now, right? Ric Flair, #1 heat moment ever in the history of his career. And there were literally people, you could see them in the video, trying to climb the cage, and the fans and cops at it. absolute work trying to keep these people out the ring, because it was amazing. And shout out to the Atlanta Omni. That they call it the Coliseum or something. What the hell they call it? Look at it. But it was here. It was right in this location. I had to come down here and start my wrestling journey in the South by just showing its location. Sure, brand new arena in there. And oh, by the way, this arena, I was in here once, and no offense, having worked at Wells Fargo Center, their club level is spectacular. It really is. And I got a ticket for a WWE event. I guess it was a couple years back, and it was really, really good. And so the game needs to be stepped up at Wells Fargo Center, just in comparison to this. Maybe it's, I know Wells Fargo Center is an old building, but whew. But yeah, folks, just wanted to share that with you. Thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed SummerSlam. I dug it. There was a lot of tons of spins going on in it. And I would like to say the following: have a spectacular week, and come back and see me soon, because I'm just roaming around. So here, from the former location of the Atlanta Omni, 1972 to 1997 was its existence. Tremendous influence when it comes to pro wrestling live events. It's historical. It's probably top 5. Maybe we'll see over time. It's probably top 5. It got a lot done. NWA was an absolutely incredible territory, and it actually bailed me out, because when the Hulkster, no offense, look, everyone likes who they like. When the Hulkster was doing his yellow and all that shenanigans that he was doing, I went over to the NWA. And thank God they were on TV. I think they were on Channel 29 or something like that. I forget. I think it was Channel 29. This, of course, back in the mid-'80s. But boy, what a hell of a promotion. All right, folks, have a great day. Have a pleasant tomorrow, and see you soon.